Okay, so the next thing you had, I'm going to kind of combine two questions in one, is you ask me why I fan my fingers out when I'm picking, and then you also ask why sometimes my fingers are touching and sometimes they're out like this. Bam! So to kind of answer both questions, the first one is why do I fan my fingers? I fan my fingers because I like to mute the whole time I'm playing, and if my hand's like this, I feel like I can't mute the strings. I guess this kind of answers another one of your questions too, but I'll go more in depth on the muting part. But yeah, whenever I'm picking, I like to mute the strings almost the whole time, even when I'm on the higher strings. You know, if you really listen to a lot of my playing, I'm always muting. So I pick different moments to unmute the strings, but that's why I keep my hand out. I could never, when I was playing, I'd watch Paul Gilbert. He picks kind of like this, and I couldn't get it to mute the strings right, and it just never felt right in my hands. So that's kind of why I do it, and I rest my hand all the way back here on the very back of the bridge. I notice a lot of people don't rest their hand back as far as I do. But to me, it gives you that real nice deep palm mute. And so as you get a little bit higher, you kind of lose that palm mute a little bit. So I just kind of always like the mute strings. It really cleans up your playing a lot in every aspect. And playing leads or even just playing, a riff. Just a cool kind of effect to add stuff. So then to kind of go on as to why I anchor my hand sometime, to be honest, I don't really know. If I'm not playing anything fast where it's just kind of slower, I kind of just let my hand rest on the guitar. But as soon as I would go to speed something up, my fingers come up. And I think it's just a matter of just different, feel to it. Kind of when I'm like this, I don't really need to be in, I guess, like full, like, shred mode or something, whatever you want to call it. But I guess as soon as I get kind of any bit of speed going, my hand instantly comes up. And it's probably just a thing of just being relaxed. If I'm just playing slower, I'm not really focused on a whole lot, because you can see how my hand just comes up as I start speeding up. So yeah, hopefully that one answers those questions for you, man. Okay, so now to kind of go back into how I'm muting the strings, because I use a couple different techniques, I guess, when I'm playing about muting the strings. So I'm going to kind of talk about some rhythmic stuff here, and some of the lead stuff that I do when I'm muting the strings. So like I'd already said, I rest my hand all the way back on the bridge, where I'm pretty much resting on the bridge. My hand's flush with where the strings and the bridge meet. And we've already discussed I fan my fingers out, because that's how I mute. If you watch, my fingers are kind of touching the strings a little bit, and it makes my hand sit differently than if I'm playing like this. So a lot of people... I can't even pick that at all. No. See, I can't pick like that for some reason. But I turn my hand, instead of going like this, I turn it on its side and put this part of my hand on the strings. Boom. And it gives me this awesome ability to kind of mute any of the strings that I want to. And I like it because I use my wrist a bunch. I don't really pick with my arm all that much, so it's kind of nifty to be able to do that. So yeah. So anyways, so I've got that going, and then kind of a different technique to do is I do a lot of left hand muting. So if I'm playing chords, like if I was doing a power chord, you know, whatever the riff might be, I kind of rest my hands across the strings. So I know this video is about picking, but see how my index finger is kind of like laying across the strings? And the point of that is so when I'm strumming, I don't really focus on what I'm hitting. As far as string wise, I kind of just so that's how I'm kind of muting the strings, and it just kind of gives me this nice clean sound that, well, usually it gives me this nice clean sound that you know, I really try to shoot for when I'm playing.